let us create an assembly of footstep bearing. So for that, let us create a new assembly document. So go to new, so click assembly and say OK. Insert the first part. So you can use this begin assembly property manager to insert the first part. Always choose the main part of the assembly as the first part to insert into the assembly document. So browse, select body as the first part to introduce. So select body here, say open. So you can place it anywhere in the graphic window. So just click here in the graphic window to place the first part. So if you want to float this, so this is already fixed. If you want to float this, just right click on this and say float, so that you can move it or you can rotate it. So I want to fix the first part in such a way that the origin of the first part will be coinciding with the origin of the assembly. So for that, so you can go to show hide items. So in this you can choose origins, or so you can say view origins. So just click this. So now you have the display of the origins. So let us apply mate such a way that so the origin of the part is coinciding with the origin of the assembly. So go to assembly, you can just press this tab and select mate. So here accidentally it is picking the face of the body, so you can just right click on this and say clear sections. So now I want to select the origin of the part, so just select this origin and you can pick the origin of the assembly. So automatically it's picking coincidence, so you can just leave it like that. So see that align axis is toggled on, and you can just click finish or add, say OK. So you can close the made property manager. So now let us insert the remaining parts. So this is the you can click the insert components tab. So now you can browse, so you can select all the parts at a time if you want. So just hold control and select the remaining parts. That includes bush, disc, pin and shaft, and say open. So all the selected items will be displayed over here. So you can place each part anywhere in the graphic window. So just click on the graphic window to place the parts one by one. So this is the pin, then you can insert the shaft. So you can add relations among the parts which include the bush, shaft, pin and the disc. So I want to insert this pin into this hole which we already created on the base, or you can say body. So I just want to select this. So let's select the surface of this, say surface of the pin. So say mate, and you can select the surface of the hole. So automatically it is picking concentric. So just say OK. So you can just move this pin. Okay. So I want to fix this pin here inside the hole. So I'm going to select, you can just zoom in and just select this edge bottom edge of the pin and this bottom edge of the hole. Automatically it is picking coincidence, so I want to apply coincidence. Say OK. So this pin is fixed here, but still it is rotating. So at present we don't find any problem with that, so let's leave it like that. So let us insert the disc here. So just move it towards this. Select the bottom surface of the disc and this face, and you can just apply coincidence. Say OK. So you can move this, just rotate the whole assembly. So I want to make this surface concentric with the surface of the pin. So let's create this let's select the surface of the hole, zoom out and select the surface of this pin. So automatically it is picking concentric, so which is good. So you can say OK. So now this disc is fixed here, so still it is rotating. To constrain this rotation, let's select the front plane of the disc. So just go to this feature tree, select the front plane. So I'm going to apply the coincidence made between the front plane of the part and the front plane of the assembly. Okay, just apply coincidence here and say OK. So now if you look here, this is not moving. So we are done with the disc. So let's introduce or let's fix another part. So I'm going to move this bush. Okay. Pick the cross section of the bush, say mate, and pick the cross section of the body. So you can apply concentric, say OK. So now let's pick the flat surface of this snug, and you can choose the flat surface of the recess, and you can say coincidence. You can add coincidence relationship, say OK. So now let us apply coincidence relationship between this face, so which is on the say bush, and this flat surface of the base, and you can choose coincidence relationship, shave OK. Close the mate property manager and just try to rebuild the assembly. So if you see here, the disc and the bush, they are completely constrained, so there is no negative sign in the parenthesis in front of the bush and the disc. So still pin is not completely fixed because still it can rotate, so we don't consider that as a problem. So let us fix the shaft. For our convenience, I want to make the body and the bush transparent. So just right click on the part and you can simply select change transparency. So now you see the the body is transparent, so that you can view all the parts which are inside this. So I want to make this transparent now, so right click on this and select change transparency. So let us select the bottom surface of the shaft, or just simply select this edge, circular edge of the shaft, same made, and select the edge of this bush and say you can apply concentric and say OK. So what I'm going to do is I want to apply a coincidence relationship between this circular edge of the shaft and the circular edge of the disc now. So let's select the circular surface of the shaft, and I can pick this circular edge of the disc, and I'm going to apply coincidence relationship. Say OK, and you can close the made property manager. So now if you see here, the shaft can rotate, but it can't move along the y direction. So once again I want to, so you can change the transparency here, just right click on the base and say change transparency. Similarly you can select the bush and say change transparency. So it's not picking that, so let's try again. So right click on this, change transparency, so select the bush and you can just press this. So now we are completed with the assembly of this. If you want to change the display style, just click display style and you can say you can go for a new option. So I want to have the hidden lines visible mode, so I want to select this. So if you want to show it in front view, you can just hold Ctrl and press 1. I want to move to the previous display style, so let's select this. So let us check if there are any interferences. So let's go, you can just click evaluate tab, and to calculate the interference, so you can select this tab, interference detection. So click this, automatically it is picking the whole assembly. So you can just click calculate to find the interferences. So there are no interference in this assembly. I want to move to the previous display style, so let's select this. So let us check if there are any interferences. So let's go, you can just click evaluate tab, and to calculate the interference, so you can select this tab, interference detection. So click this, automatically it is picking the whole assembly. So you can just click calculate to find the interferences. So there are no interference in this assembly. So let us create an exploded view of this assembly. So click exploded view tab here. So select the first part, so I'm selecting the shaft. So you can pick this arrow which is representing the y direction, just hold this arrow and just pull it, and you can assign some value here in the y direction. So just I want to assign a value of say 200 mm, say enter. So if you want to move in the X direction, you can just pull this arrow, say OK. So let us select the second part, which is, so I'm considering the bush. So let's pull it in the Y direction. Next, I want to select the disc, pull it in the Y direction. Then again select the disc and you can move it along the X direction. So let's select the pin now. Again, you can pull it in the Y direction. And let's move in the X direction. So now, so we are finished with the exploded view, and you can simply say OK to close the exploded view property manager.